Well, hello there. Today, we're going to talk about maybe nothing's wrong. I don't know who's going to be on here today, but that's fine. I'm going to roll my intro and I'll be back. So stick with me. Boom! Let's do this. So it looks like I'm going, sorry, this is like a waste. Wow, it's been like 3 minutes. Okay, tonight we're talking about lack of motivation. Now you got to give me 2 seconds again. Sorry about that. Like, do you ever feel lack of motivation? I hope you guys can hear me, please. Right? Because I still have a big thing in the middle of my screen that says, okay, Pam. Hi, Pam. I can hear you. Great. Thank you. I'll see you for a few minutes and then you're gone. So some days motivation feels like your steam just vanished, right? And like there's like a campfire in the rain. So I stumbled on this article in the Medium, which was my favorites, that talks about motivation and how not to force it, but what's actually missing when it fades. And so it really kind of resonated with me because tonight we're talking about why motivation disappears and what might actually matter. So like you don't need to kick yourself in the shins if you're not perfect. So okay, good. So Pam says you're loyal and clear. Okay, awesome, thanks. Might have to edit some of that before I upload to the YouTubes. Hey, I have 125 subscribers now. It's pretty exciting. Sasquatch is very excited. Okay, so today, like I was thinking today and I was like, I have absolutely no motivation. I don't want to do anything. And I did stuff and then I came home. I did take a nap today. That did help. So I was really struggling with what to talk about tonight because I wasn't motivated and I wasn't completely prepared for other stuff. I was going to talk about the Hotel St. Michael that I just stayed at, but I'll do it another time. And I just wasn't in the mood to do all the research. So is that okay? Yep, it totally is, because you can switch your gears and kind of move it to something else, right? Because we all expect to feel motivated. So we want to wake up fired up, right? Especially in the new year. And there's all these people like David Goggins who are constantly promoting the hustle culture. But then we feel let down when we don't get up and then thrive and feel fired up every day. So this Medium article right here, let me share the screen. I've got this thing in my way here that you guys can't see. It's kind of annoying. Not feeling motivated enough. I found the piece that's missing. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the Medium, subscribe to it. It's pretty good. I really like it. So it kind of talks about the Daniel Pink's idea that there's the old motivation models like the carrot and the stick. So motivation as reward / punishment, right? So that doesn't really sustain us. We've been taught to push harder for outcomes, but when the carrot is gone, motivation disappears with it. And that's been true for me more than once, right? So there's this core like idea. Motivation isn't just about outcomes, it's about meaning. So have you ever thought about it that way, right? Because if you think about it, if the only thing pushing you, I was looking for comments, if the only thing pushing you is a result, like money, weight loss, praise, a finish line, your motivation is fragile. And the moment that result feels far away, unclear, or disappointing, motivation collapses. And then sometimes, what happens when you make that one? So like this 90 days, I just had a friend ask me like, what is your actual 90 days thing again? And I'll have to revisit and make sure I'm doing it right. But my 90 days, this first one is showing up. So every day it's a video of something, right? So mostly it's me. I think I've had 1 or 2 where my face isn't on it. Maybe you're sick of my face. I don't know. But this is showing up and I'm doing a lot of other things within that. So building consistency is what I'm doing. And it's building consistency with other things in my life. Okay. Because if you think about it, so motivation, it's not a feeling. It's in the article that I just showed you from the Medium, it basically states you don't wait for magic to happen. You start small, you get moving, and you let that generate energy. So there's a thing that was in there. I looked up. It was an anti-productivity diary theme, but it's like some days it's 10 minutes of work, and that 10 minutes is the door that leads to another 10, and that is motivation and action. So today, for me, consistency is doing this podcast is consistency, and consistency fosters discipline, right? And discipline is a practice, not a mood. So even if you're in a bad mood, so you just gotta do the small thing. You just gotta show up. Just do the small things, okay? So it's not just mental fluff. Sometimes motivation is lower because deeper needs aren't met. So basic stuff like rest, food, your emotional balance feels off. Then your motivation takes a back seat, right? So in that article, he calls it motivation 3.0, which is passion, purpose, and flow. So think about I'm asking you this, like what lights you up even a little? And then could that even just a little light you up into something bigger? Because you don't have to solve everything right away, right? So some things that are working for me. So small things. So what's a small thing that lights me up? Okay. And I didn't want to do this. I didn't. My 3 days a week of working out has motivated me better. The consistency of that has made me want to do it. So even when I'm like, oh, I don't want to go, I want to go because I really want to keep that consistency. It's making me feel more successful. And that's good for me. And it's good for my health too, right? Some other things that is that, so sometimes I make myself sit down to do work, right? Even when I think I don't have enough time. And so when I do that and I sit here and I'm like, okay, maybe I only have 10 minutes and maybe I do get a boatload of things done in 10 minutes. I surprise myself with how much I actually got done. And then I feel even more successful. And it's kind of a nice little surprise to yourself, right? So like another little success. I would have mail, don't judge me, but I would have mail that would pile up for 6 months even. And then I would go through it and I'd be like, okay, like keep some of the things I needed. Hopefully I didn't miss like a bill or a payment or something, you know? And now I have been keeping consistent with checking my mail and making sure I just, get rid of the things I don't need and keep the things I do need. It's helping with my stress level a lot, as weird as that might sound to you, right? So there was this article in Reddit, this thing. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm just going to talk about it because it's quite long. But I don't know if you guys ever look at Reddit, but it's kind of interesting. So for years, I struggled with zero motivation and lethargy. Everything changed once I discovered how motivation actually works and is generated. So this guy says, today I'm not perfect, but man, I'm doing way better. So if you are in a position where you are struggling and you don't think that you can find it in you to get stuff done, just remember it doesn't have to happen. Rome wasn't built in a day. It doesn't have to happen all in 10 minutes or the next day, or just take those little processes and build on it. So in that article, summarized it a bit. So I was thinking about it, right? And it already made me feel better about my less motivated days like today, because for a long time I've thought about when motivation drops, it means something's wrong with me. Give me put a balloon in the comments if that's something that you do. So like, because of this hustle culture, I don't know why I can't say that. I would think like if I really cared, I'd push harder. If I were more disciplined, I wouldn't feel this resistance. Okay, come on. But the way that this person in Reddit shared it and framed it shifted something for me, because I don't think most of us are unmotivated. I think we're tired. I think we're overstimulated. And we're trying to force ourselves to function in ways that don't really fit our lives anymore. Because we expect things to show up first. And then when it doesn't, we turn that into a personal failure, right? So Pam says, being competitive motivates me. Awesome. See, that's great. And I know you are gearing up for the Netherlands and some other things and competitions, which is fun. And then you're doing some other fun stuff that I don't know, that builds that competition mindset, which is great, So motivation doesn't usually come before action, right? So what helps is slowing down just enough to notice what's actually going on. So you're not fixing it, you're not optimizing it, you're just noticing it, because some days you're like, okay, so like I imagine this, like some days motivation is like you're Tony Robbins and you're walking through the world and you're like, I've got this and I'm going to keep it up going at top level. And then I wonder, like, what is Tony Robbins like personal life like at home? What does he think about? Like, does he think about this stuff? Does he ever rest? Doesn't seem like it, right? So some days motivation looks like doing the tiniest version of a thing. It looks like resting without turning it into a failure. It's choosing not to numb out, even if that feels uncomfortable. I hate the term bed rot. I hate it. I feel you. I'm not unmotivated. I'm just tired, Frankie. Exactly. See, I've been tired all day. It's been crazy. I didn't want to do this. So motivation doesn't come from hating where you are. It comes from feeling okay enough to move forward. So if you're listening and having one of those days where you're thinking, I don't feel motivated, I should just be doing more, maybe nothing's wrong with you. Maybe your system just needs a little less pressure, a little less noise, and a little more trust. Maybe showing up quietly today already counted, right? Because I can't stand that. Like, I need days where I can lay in bed all day and watch Netflix, maybe have some hot chocolate or have hot chocolate in my coffee, which is delish. And I hate the term bed rot. I just said that. I really hate it. And hate's a strong word. And so maybe the younger generation, you know, they, as much as they hate the ellipses that I use all of the time. Okay, I got a comment here. So Frankie says, the Scottish word for bed rot is hunky-durkle, to lay in bed after you've woken up. Hunkle-durkle. Well, okay, I like that better. I'll say that. Today I'm going to hunkle-durkle. I'm having a problem because I have something in front of my screen here that is blocking some of the words. So think about that. I showed up today, this is going to be an interesting 90 days. And then I'm going to see what I'm going to do for the next 90 days. Like maybe it's going to be learning a new skill, or like I was thinking about maybe I'll learn how to invest, and I'll have you guys join my journey. And maybe you'll want to do something with me or whatever. And that'll be kind of fun. And then we can document it, you know? Just making sure I don't have another comment. So just remember that you're not a failure, even if you don't get it done, right? But just try, if you can, if it's in you for that day, to do something small just to get it done. So that today, when my thing was like, yeah, I'm just going to talk about lack of motivation. Boom. Okay. So final thoughts. Where am I? Hang on. Sorry. Like I said, I need an assistant. Well, here it is. Final thoughts. Okay, so the 5-minute rule. Committing to just 5 to 10 minutes of a task often leads to finishing it, because the hardest part is simply starting. So just remember that. The hardest part is simply starting, okay? Motivation isn't a magic potion you find in a bottle. I can't even read this. It's a little flame you tend to with actions that matter to you, even when the days you don't feel like it. Even on the days you don't feel like it. Sorry, this stuff's in my way. You know what? Perfection is boring. If motivation is missing, maybe it's just pointing you towards something deeper. And actually, that's kind of cool, because it could just steer you in a different direction, right? And then you never know what comes up. So this is for Sit Squatch. Like and subscribe on YouTube. I have 125 now. I'm looking for more. Make Sit Squatch and his tiny hiney very happy. He says the journey begins with you, so be good to yourself. And that's a very important thing. And I'm asking you guys some other ideas later, I think. But this is me. I love you. Peace and love, everybody. And I will see you next week. If you would like to tell me in the comments what you're struggling with, or what helps you stay motivated, ever so small, that's awesome. Please let me know, because I would love to see it. Okay. See you later.